Great news! There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price, and it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
Welcome to what are always some highly questionable proceedings. This is Pablo Torre, ESPN The Magazine senior writer. What do you like on the show today, Pablo?
We're going to figure out if we should show mercy to Wesley Johnson.
Dale, papi.
Did the running beer go too far in showing up Wesley Johnson?
You rarely get these situations in this sport. Not the crossover, but the crossover where the guy pauses and the other guy is laughing at his own incompetence. The Rockets are overwhelming. They've got the best offense in the league and in history. And it starts with this guy. And let's look at that from many, many different angles. Wesley Johnson is, and James just looks at him, and look at the bench. They know. And then who's that other guy? Who's that in the corner for the Clippers that came running over? The Clippers used to be right on the doorstep. Let's check in again with that guy who ran in with half-hearted defense after his laughing team. And who is that in the corner? Do you know?
Teodosic.
Okay, look at it. Watch his defense. Watch it. Okay, yeah, that's bad. Okay, Clippers basketball, baby.
James Harden took a pause and contemplated all of the retweets this clip would bring him. I mean, we live in the age of memes, and by certain angles on that video, you could tell that there was some Brian Russell to this. There was some push to this. It wasn't exactly the agility and wizardry of the dribbling. It was James Harden being beefier than you realize. But we don't care about that.
No, we don't.
We're not here for that. We're here to laugh at Wesley Johnson.
That's
so
right.
Wesley Johnson, congratulations. Today is Wesley Johnson Day. We're just going to laugh at you.
Yes, you lead the show, Wesley Johnson, for falling down and laughing at yourself.
Ring!
Wow.
Ring!
Banana ringing
Hello?
earlier today.
I wonder who this is.
Oh, Fred. It's Fred Hoiberg.
Fred
Again?
Hoiberg. Yeah.
What's going on, Fred? Huh? You thought that the running beer should have gotten the technical foul? Yeah? For taunting? And a foul for pushing off?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And traveling.
Right.
Traveling, too,
Fred,
while we're at it.
Good observation, Fred. But listen, Fred, you're really destroying all the fun in the NBA. You should concentrate more in coaching your team so they might win a couple of more games. Okay, Fred, take care.
Hang up on him.
Okay, take care.
Are the Giants now being too supportive of Eli Manning?
I don't know what Eli Manning is at this point in his career. I think he's really close to washed. I don't think it's fair, though, to use last year as an assessment when he had no wide receivers. But previous management with the Giants has been let go because they weren't supportive of Eli Manning at the end. That owner has a relationship with Eli Manning, and you're seeing in New England what happens when the owner has a relationship with the quarterback. Sometimes they bypass everyone. These new people in charge have the number 2 overall pick, but they're saying Eli's got a couple of years left. They have to say that because no matter what they're doing with the number 2 pick, they've got to make you think that Eli Manning is their future. It serves everybody involved.
They have this new GM now named Dave Gettleman, and my favorite quote from Dave Gettleman about this is, "Are we open for business? Yeah, whatever." Like, I don't think he knows entirely either. And the thing about someone like Dave Gettleman, who has a quarterback like Eli Manning who is beloved and is useful in the present versus a draft pick who will be useful many years from now, is that all these GMs all have a little bit of Billy King in them, which is to say, they want Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce take our draft picks because I may not have this job when this new quarterback comes in. Eli Manning may be his best hope, even if it's not the best hope for any actual Giants fans.
If you did not understand the Billy King reference, that is a Nets general manager that Pablo tied this story to, even though it's a basketball story.
It contained multitudes.
How should Raiders fans feel about John Gruden wanting to bring the game back to 1998?
I remember John Gruden being asked about a 4th down analytics paper in which it showed that NFL coaches don't go for it enough on 4th down. And his response was, how many of those people writing those papers have had to actually make that decision on 4th down? He comes from a different time. Listen to him saying, we're going to play old-timey football.
Man, I'm trying to throw the game back to 1998. Really, as a broadcaster, I went around and observed every team, asked a lot of questions, took a look at the facilities, how they're doing business. There's a stack of analytical data, or data, however you want to say that word, that people don't even know how to read it. It's one thing to have the data or data, It's another thing to know how to read a damn thing. So I'm not going to rely on GPSs and all the modern technology. I will certainly have some people that are professional that can help me from that regard, but I still think doing things the old-fashioned way is a good way, and we're going to try to lean the needle that way a little bit.
I mean, John Gruden sounds like, to me, one of those unfrozen cavemen football coaches, where he has been unfrozen into this new exciting world, and it all terrifies him. The thing about going back to 1998 in 2018 is that we just saw a Super Bowl between two teams that are as analytically rigorous as any we've seen before. The Philadelphia Eagles actually have a head coach who listens to those nerds that John Gruden was alluding to call in plays. And the crazy thing about it is the Eagles owner, Jeffrey Lurie, tells the coach, listen to the nerds. This is not the right time to say we're bringing this back to 1998 when we had floppy drives. That's not a thing.
Spoken like a guy who just returned from the Sloan Analytics Conference, is feeling pretty good about himself because Obama was one of the keynote speakers. But in the modern age, this is what I would say to you. Daryl Morey in basketball is doing all of these analytics, and he used to bring these papers into Kevin McHale's office. Kevin McHale would take them and throw them in the trash. Kevin McHale is now fired. The Houston Rockets are now great because they're using those analytics. You can combine the two. It's not a good idea to ignore the analytics.
Well, I don't know. I did some research, and I found out that in 1998, Gruden was 8-8 with the Raiders. That's right. I mean, so if he goes back to 1998, same shit is going to happen.
I know. Look at some of the late Tampa years, too. They weren't that good either.
Throwing it back to total mediocrity.
Is Jay Williams right that college players should boycott the Final Four?
I've been saying this for years, and nobody picks it up as news, and now it's a question on the show because I've had an idea that Jay Williams might have stolen, and here he is using it.
I agree. Players should boycott, but it's how you boycott that's going to be the major difference. Let me give you an analogous, okay? You can essentially equate a scholarship to the salary cap of the NBA. They're both businesses, okay? Business goes across the board. So as gross revenue increases, guess what happens in the NBA? The salary cap rises. But as gross revenue increases within collegiate sports, in particular college basketball, the scholarship stays absolutely the same. That's a problem. We saw USA Women's Soccer do the same exact thing when they felt like they weren't getting equitable wages to their male counterparts. They boycotted. But wouldn't it be a crazy thing if we saw players actually just not boycott a game in the NCAA tournament, but boycott the Final Four? Imagine how quickly the NCAA will recognize that it's just not only a business for themselves, but also a business for the athletes as well. That's how you make change.
The NCAA is clearly reactionary more than it is proactive about anything, so this is an excellent idea. But the difference between Dan Le Batard proposing this radical idea and Jay Williams proposing it is that Jay Williams is far more convincing as the ghost of Christmas future for these players. Jay Williams is an excellent missionary for the idea that all the money you didn't get paid in your first multi-billion-dollar sport will not get paid to you in your second